Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ticket Stubs and Popcorn. We're going to take an actor that we really like, and we're going to talk about what we feel are their three best roles. Today, we are going to do Christopher Walken. That man is terrifying. So, I am Frank.
And I'm Peter.
And that's
And
Peter.
before we get going, I got a question for you.
Oh, I leave you just quick off the line.
Yeah, well, I had to be.
So,
had to be.
Yeah, all right. What do you got?
What, in your opinion, would be the most satisfying villain death?
Huh.
Where the bad guy gets
what I think would be, or what's like what do I think is?
Sorry, what is?
Okay.
What is?
Okay.
Which would in your vast memory banks of movies watched, which villain?
Yeah. Okay.
Got the best.
So we're talking about movie villains, not people that I consider villains.
People who you have killed in real life.
But we're talking about movies.
Not those real.
All right, good. That narrows it down considerably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
We're only talking about 120 years of cinema. And
right, exactly. As opposed to my reign of terror.
Forget it.
Crazy. Anyway, all right, cool. Yeah, that's something I can think about that. Yeah. All right. So yeah. All right, that's good. Before we listen to your Chris Walken stuff, folks, if you would just like and subscribe. You know how it works: like, subscribe, hit the little subscribe thing. There's a little bell there if you want to be notified when we do this. Yes. And
share with your friends.
Share with your friends.
Like, subscribe.
All that stuff. You know how YouTube works. So, all right, Christopher Walken.
All righty. I think I almost always enjoy a good Christopher Walken movie, character. He's good. He's good. I think depending too on like what point in his career, sometimes his face is a little more thin,
Gaunt.
You know what I mean? A little gaunt,
Yeah.
A little angular. And then sometimes how he wears his hair in the particular role. That I think adds to this weird little
as he's aged and and his face has filled in.
Yeah,
I think I think that there's a direct correlation, or there's a direct between the fullness of his face and the crazy in his eyes.
Yes,
because as he's gotten older, he's gotten a little bit more terrifying.
Seriously, just always enjoy.
Yeah.
This
stuff. He's great.
It's good. So I am going to start off with not his first one, but one of the ones that definitely started off his big career would be Deer Hunter.
Oh yeah.
Which
classic.
Follows a group of young men and women, but mostly the men, through their time in this little Pennsylvania town, and it takes them through their growing up and coming of age, and then going off to war in Vietnam in this specific case, and just the hell, the tragedy of what life was during, and then for some of them, what life was like after they come home or don't come home. That whole experience, and you can get involved with some of the depiction of certain events during the war. Is it factual? Is there anything to back up certain things? Because there's the whole Russian roulette scene, which, they've done research on and stuff, and they said they really don't think that happened in reality during the war. Whether or not that's true,
right?
Or not true. That's a whole other thing, right? But it's that scene, or one of the scenes, the Russian roulette one, which really kind of makes the whole Christopher Walken performance in that movie. That's definitely, shapes shapes the movie, but shapes his character, and then what's going to happen later on to the character, and how he deals or not deals even coming to terms with stuff that happened during the war and his escape, we'll say, of things. So that performance is not just, it's this powerful thing. It's just, it's just hell, and it's made to be that way, It's visceral, and it's just, in that one particular scene with the Russian, it's just the tension build up.
Yeah.
So that performance really, that's one of the highlights. Even though it's very early in his career, it definitely highlights his career.
Yeah.
So that one always will stick with me, is Deer Hunter. There's just not much more you could say about that one other than watch the movie if you haven't seen it. And it's got a lot of great stars. He's one of, say, 4 or 5 meaty roles, just big, wonderful roles. And it sticks with you. At least it does to me, that sort of thing. But so one of my picks would be Deer Hunter. Another one of my picks would be a movie that's maybe like the last 10 years or so, the late Quartet. And I really love this movie.
Don't even know it.
Great, phenomenal performances. I was shocked, and I am not kidding. I was genuine. And when it comes to like Oscar season, there's a lot of times that, you may say, there was a snub. This person wasn't nominated, which I kind of think is a little bit of a BS thing when they talk about snubs.
Well, it sells papers.
Yeah, exactly. But I was just shocked that Christopher Walken wasn't nominated for a Best Supporting Actor. This movie, The Late Quartet, it's got Philip Seymour Hoffman and Catherine Keener, who really are just excellent in this movie. But Christopher Walken, that character, he's the elder statesman of this musical quartet, a string quartet. And it shows this slice of life that I am completely unfamiliar with, which would be the inner workings of performance musicians.
Okay.
I mean, I love music. I cannot play an instrument. Couldn't play drum if there were one at arm's length.
Right here. Yeah.
But I don't know really anything about what traveling and recording, musical life would be. And this quartet is so we see the inner workings of it. And he's the elder statesman of the group. And at some point in the movie, fairly early, he finds out that he is in fact dying. And there's this integrity that he has. He doesn't like the inner squabbling he sees with the slight, the younger people in the quartet. It's all about like the music and the purity of the music and the performance. And it's about, he's lost his wife earlier, and she was one of the founding members of this quartet along with himself. And he just doesn't want to see this, lost. So it's the late quartet, and he's just very good in it. He's a loving father, but he's also the father of the whole group in a way. And it's just really good. It's I guess he's this man, and when it even like the scenes where he has to tell the others that he's dying of cancer, because it has to be done because it's starting to affect his playing, and so he needs to broach the subject, but it's not done in a melodramatic way. He just has to, this is kind of like housekeeping.
Yeah.
So he just tells them and what his expectations are going to be and what he wants it to be even after he's gone. And it's just really good. It's a great performance by him, and it's excellent work on
It
the
sounds a
album.
little bit more familiar as you're talking about it.
I couldn't tell you for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe like 2012,
Yeah.
something in there,
Huh.
maybe. But just a great performance. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that one, and it's a different role for him. Well, yeah, it's a different role for him.
Yeah, no, it sounds, yeah.
And he just does a great job with it. Now, coming to my third pick, I have some trouble, and the only trouble is I've mentioned it before. It was probably with Bruce Willis. I just absolutely love the scene in Pulp Fiction where he's talking about the watch and how he's been bequeathed this watch just as its protector until he can get back, and tell the importance of the watch and the backstory of the watch when he presents it to the son who will eventually grow up to become the Bruce Willis character. So I love that scene. The only thing that holds it back for me is picking it. It's a very short scene.
It is very short, but
I know we've done short scenes before with like Viola Davis maybe in Doubt. I really love that scene, but I am gonna, because it is a short scene. I'm really torn, but I'm gonna
think it worked. Also, I think that it's one of those scenes where I think in the hands of a lesser actor, it doesn't. It just becomes a story about a guy who carried this watch up his ass for so many years, and when Christopher Walken does it, when what he brings to it, not only does he tell his story, and it talks about his honorable behavior in doing this, and how he's honoring the wishes of a brother in arms. It also informs Bruce Willis's character, and it helps just so it's really interesting where the Bruce Willis character or this kid is just sitting there listening to it, but everything that this guy is saying, it explains why Butch is
so emotionally tied to
this watch, and it's just as important as if his own father had carried that watch up his ass. And like I said, I think that in the hands of a lesser actor and a lesser director
too,
I think that it would just be this weird toss that you could almost cut it out. And you wouldn't lose anything except the conversation about, oh my God, there's this part where this guy talks about how he had to carry a watch up his ass. But losing that as it stands, you would lose a lot of character development for Bruce Willis's character. Yes, it's a very, very small scene, but it adds so much value to another character.
Okay. You convinced me. So I'll leave that in as my third.
I think
I would never sell that one short. I was just thinking of a fourth role that was a lot longer and also an excellent one, but I'll skip that one if you want.
It's up to you. I just think that you'd be selling it short by saying, "Oh, it's so small."
It is a small role, but it's not an unimportant role.
But its importance, I
think,
definitely
is
huge. Yeah.
Okay. So, we'll stick with that one.
All right.
I'll stick with Pulp Fiction.
All right. Like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. You know how it all works.
Yeah, when he said blah, blah,
blah. Right. Seriously. No. We do appreciate all your comments and your subscribe clicks and such. So
if you know any movie friends who might want to.
Yeah, just share the whole thing.
Share with them.
All right. Christopher Walken, my 3. All right. I'm going to take your I'm going to take the short Christopher Walken speech, which I think in itself has become its own genre. A Christopher Walken just speech to a dude in a chair.
Yeah.
I think it's really become, because you start after Pulp Fiction. I think that through the 90s and 2000s, Christopher Walken has been given these movies where he's going to give a bit of a speech to his adversary, and they've become a bit of a thing. But one of my favorites would be the one from True Romance.
Okay.
Where he plays the mob boss that is going after Christian Slater, and he's having a conversation with Dennis Hopper, who's Christian Slater's dad. And again, it is one of these great sort of speech movies, and Dennis Hopper gets to do his own speech back. But it's a small little bit. You don't see much from Christopher Walken in that movie after that. But it's a really, really, really powerful. It's a powerful scene in that it lets you know, okay, Christian Slater really needs to be afraid of what's coming after him, because he's in love and he's going to go and he's trying to be brave and make his stake in the world and try to do this big coke deal. But there is a world of hurt coming after him, and he should be very, very afraid of it. And I think it's a great, oh my God, I'm terrified of Christopher Walken because of that movie. In that it's one of those movies that makes me forget that Gary Oldman is a big part of that movie.
I need to see that one again. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's a great Christopher Walken role. So bigger one, which is such a change for me from Christopher Walken role, would be his role in Catch Me If You Can. He plays Leonardo DiCaprio's father. And I think a lot of Christopher Walken stuff, you see him as sort of a tough guy, and he's more imposing. But in this one, throughout the whole thing, he's just downtrodden. His business is falling apart. The government's coming after him for taxes. Yeah. He loses his wife. His influence on his son is really kind of out of whack, because his son just, thinks that it's the surface flashiness stuff that is going to help you get ahead, and he's it sends his son off on a whole big adventure. But the father is just kind of just beaten down, and that's not something that you see a lot from Christopher Walken. And I think it's a nice change, quite frankly. It's nice to see Christopher Walken looking vulnerable. Yes. And at one point he's concerned about what his son is doing. And his son's just like, Dad, I bought you a Cadillac. Blah, blah. He's just like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah. The IRS sees me with a brand new Cadillac, and he's saying that this isn't going to help, but those are the exact values that he instilled in his son, that the way you show love is through you showed love and success through these big, extravagant, superficial gestures. And that's what ultimately gets, Frank Abagnale in trouble. It's just that he just keeps running. And his dad's just like, look, man, I can't take it. And then he ends up dying a pauper. It's a shame. It really is. Yeah. But you take that True Romance role where he's the terrifying gangster against this downtrodden, just
kind of beaten down.
Beaten down guy who's trying to make it work, and is just going about it the wrong way and blaming the government for coming after him. Right. It's the government's fault. And, it's, I don't know, but it's a wonderful portrayal. Catch Me If You Can. And my last one would be swinging back to terrifying Christopher Walken is Biloxi Blues.
Oh, thank God you picked that, because that was the fourth. That was my number 3. That it got bumped by the Pulp Fiction role. Good. I'm glad you mentioned it. Okay, I can talk about it now.
From the minute he comes on screen, he is just a coiled spring. You know,
Psychopath. He's a
you know what it is?
psychopath.
I can't even say coiled spring ready to pounce.
No, because he'll pounce.
He's not. He's a boiling pot just ready to boil over. He's just not right for the whole. And even when he does, I got a plate in my head, bonk, and he's trying to be funny. It's just like,
we're laughing along with you.
Really, really funny. Don't anybody make any sudden moves or anything like that. And he's wonderful and he's terrifying.
Yes.
And he really makes the movie. He is the exact balance to all the lovely funny stuff that happens and all the sort of coming of age stuff that happens to the Matthew Broderick character. But he is truly terrifying.
It's interesting that it's a Neil Simon play, made into a movie. But you'd have to classify it as a comedy. But there's a psychopath in this comedy, though.
Yeah, and you know what though, it borders, because sometimes a movie can be a drama that has funny stuff happen in it.
Yeah.
This is, Neil Simon is typically a funny writer. His stuff is typically funny.
Yeah.
But this is the themes that this movie addresses are very, very serious.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's about war. It's about friendship. It's about sort of seeing people through how they're different from what you see versus how they really are. And really learning to understand.
Yeah, and with the Matthew Broderick character in particular, he's even with the voiceover sort of thing, he's even questioning himself, like, why didn't I stand up for him?
Right.
Like, we're the same, or I believed the same thing that he believes, but I never stood up for him.
Yeah.
Why didn't I stand up for him? So he's questioning it.
Yeah, it's a great movie, a great play, and the Christopher Walken character. Even he's not just the crazy drill sergeant guy. In his toward the end when he acts all crazy and he does. I don't want to spoil it because I really want you to go see this 35-year-old movie.
That's right. It just came up.
Yeah. But you can understand where he's coming from. It's like, everything he's known is being kind of taken away from him.
Yeah.
And it humanizes him as a character, but you're still terrified. I remember the first time I saw that movie, right up until the very end, I did not know what was going to happen. What was this crazy bastard going to do?
Yeah, exactly. And then the other, there's that part of it too where you say to yourself, okay, does a drill sergeant need to act a certain way? Well, yes. Are there acceptable norms? Yes. Can you be sarcastic and make it work? Well, of course. Can you be a little on the rough side? Well, of course. But then there's that thing where he talks about the metal plate in his head, and then you start to wonder, is that a joke? Like, how much is this really affecting stuff?
Right.
We don't really know specifically because of the way it is. It's tough to tell.
Yeah.
But he's just terrifying in this weird, irrational thing, way of going about it. So it's that's a great role.
Yeah,
and I'm glad you picked it because that was on my list. Well, it was 3A or 3B or whatever.
I get it. So that's so your 3 were Pulp Fiction and the
Late
Quartet, and it was the oh my God, oh dear. It's like I'm picturing the scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is not Apocalypse. So
And you picked True Romance,
mm-hmm.
Catch Me If You Can, and Biloxi Blues.
Biloxi Blues.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So well, like and subscribe again.
Please
Thank
do.
you. Please and thank you. And
I threw a question at you at the beginning.
it was, oh my God, I have totally forgotten it already. 20 minutes later.
We'll just say satisfying
Oh,
villain
yeah,
death.
satisfying villain death.
I guess that's the easiest way of putting it.
Yeah, I think the most. That's a good one. There are so many satisfying villain deaths.
Yeah.
And there are villains out there whose death I haven't yet been able to appreciate.
Good point.
So, all right, I'm going to say. In Princess Bride.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
There's definitely that build-up.
Yeah. When Indigo finally gets to kill the guy who killed his dad. So.
I like to refer to that guy as the six-fingered man, only because he's got 5 fingers on one hand.
Yeah. So, that one is the most satisfying for me. And it's because of the way that line is delivered.
Oh, of course.
No, not that line. Not the prepare, not that prepare.
The other one.
Thing.
Bring back.
But at the end, it's just like, I want my father back, you son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
And then it finishes him, and it's just so satisfying. Not because you're seeing him die, you're seeing Indigo's revenge satisfied.
Yeah, and there's a few seconds before when he's losing the sword fight, so you start to wonder, wait a minute, he's gonna die? He's not gonna get revenge? And then actually within the storytelling of it, where the grandfather's reading to the grandson even says, "No, wait." Doesn't he say like, "Wait"?
Does it? So, but yeah, that's probably top of my head.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that one. I hadn't thought about that one, but that one's always.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, I was just in a really kind of I don't want to say simplistic way, but it's so satisfying if it's possible to go back in our memory banks to the first time, and it's a long time for some people, the first time that you saw The Wizard of Oz. When Dorothy simply throws water to put out the fire, you're not expecting that to be the way that they're going to kill the witch.
Yeah.
And when she's just melting the special effects into the floor, and then I always like that one because it's not, that one wasn't, I mean, you expect at some point something to happen to the witch. We saw, the curled foot remains of previous witches as they're dead, crushed under a house. But this one we get to see happen right before our eyes. And you're not, if you can remember back to the first time, because sometimes, it used to be on TV every year. So I've seen it when I was pretty young, and I wasn't expecting that to be the thing.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and so that was satisfying because it's also so over the top dramatic, oh, what a world, oh, this beauty and all this stuff, whatever, and then she's just kind of melting away into the floor and her dress is still there. And then you also realize how it doesn't just solve their problem, meaning Dorothy and the 3 companions. You also see the monkeys are a little happy about it.
Yeah.
The guards are a little happy about it. They're like, hey, okay. Ding dong,
All right,
the
nice
witch
job,
is dead.
kid.
Yeah, just take. Yeah, you want the broom? Take the broom.
Take the broom. We don't care. We got a dozen of them.
It's all
It's
good.
fine.
It's all
So,
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so I
nice.
enjoyed that one.
That's cool. All right, great. Who are we doing next?
Well, I don't know.
Let's get the
see what
magic
we can
bucket.
get. The magic popcorn bucket and pull out a ticket stub. Ticket stubs and popcorn.
It's important to know, folks, that
Oh yeah, there are.
there's a lot in
They're
there.
in there.
All right. Ooh. Yeah. All right. You're not going to see. I'm going to let you see.
You don't want to do that.
Oh.
Uh-oh. I think I'm going to have to watch some movies.
Uh-oh.
No. I'm kidding.
All right. Cool.
That was my dramatic.
Yeah, that was
little
good.
turn.
That was
Ooh,
good.
I like
Man,
that.
one acting class. Anyway.
It's gone straight to his head.
Hey, folks, thanks for watching another episode of Ticket Stubs and Popcorn. Please like and subscribe. I am Frank.
And I'm Peter.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.